I, 37 female, have a daughter, Mia, teen. Mia is very forgetful and irresponsible when it comes to school. She's barely on time, late to school most days, even though we live a 10-minute walk away. She will do homework at the last minute and often ask for extensions with work. She tends to remind me to pay for school-related things like lunch money just before I go to bed, or that she needs to take something to school so we can run to the store and quickly get it. Last month, I went on a wild goose chase to help Mia locate ingredients for her home econ class after telling me she needed XYZ ingredients at 10:30. She just checked the fridge and we didn't have them. She was reading the ingredients of an email, and when I saw it was dated a week prior, I got annoyed. Mia couldn't have told me before when we did the big food shop for the family. I told her the next time she needs something for school, she should tell me the day she gets it or the day after that at the latest, or I will not help her out. My husband has stopped helping Mia with her last-minute requests and calls me a pushover for helping her out. But when she asked today to put down the deposit for a school trip, I put my foot down. Mia has known since the start of the school year she had a school trip to Germany. Her school sent an email out 2 months ago asking for deposits for kids to secure their place on the trip. It's about 150, and Mia asked me today to pay as the deadline is midnight or she may be unable to go. I reminded her what I said last time about deadlines and organisation, and as she chose to tell me last minute, I will not be paying for her deposit. She got upset as all her friends from history class were going. I told Mia that she could pay herself from her savings if she has a part-time job, which is more than enough to cover her deposit, but she wanted to save up to buy a new game console. I told her to pick if she wanted to go on the trip or get a new game console, and she called me an idiot. Now I'm wondering if I'm being unreasonable. My husband is on my side, but my youngest said it was mean, and Mia is very upset with me. Edit, Mia has been tested for ADHD and doesn't have it. I did my research at the time and realised it often gets overlooked for girls, but even after getting another opinion, she doesn't have ADHD. She gets help from a school advisor regarding her dyslexia, and at home we've discussed strategies to help her stay on track with her responsibilities. But she will ask for extensions on top of her extensions, which is a sore spot for her and my husband, who wants her to be more organised and not leave work till the last minute. Not the idiot. If she didn't have enough of her own money, I'd probably cave, but she wants you to spend your money instead, knowing full well that she blew it again. Stick to your guns. She needs to pay for her mistake, literally. She can remember her obligations if she can remember what game console she's saving for. If she has a cell phone, why isn't she setting her alarms and entering reminders on her phone's calendar? She's 15 years old, for heaven's sake. Stop babying her. You're not doing her any favours. How is she supposed to learn and eventually move out independently if you always enable her? Yeah, I was tossing up whether this was the time to lay down the law, but the fact that she has the money to go, it's just that she doesn't get a game console and to go on this trip. A perfect way and time to teach her that her actions have consequences. If you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. Yeah, the ripe old teenage years are the perfect time to be taught this life lesson. As long as you stop enabling your daughter, she'll get the point. She might think you're idiot now, but she'll realise later what you're trying to do. Landlords won't always give an extension to pay rent. The boss won't be willing to give more time to finish a project. People aren't going to want to be your friend if you're a last-minute flake with all the excuses. There are some cheesy examples, but your daughter will live, OP. I disagree, you are the idiot. People think dyslexia is just about spelling or reading and writing, but it actually has a far greater impact, including on things like being able to remember instructions, lists, organisation, etc. Many people with dyslexia can struggle to get things done in a time frame that is acceptable to others because they can't figure out how to start a task. It's like a blind spot where they can't see what to do first. OP needs to work with her kid on how she should do things, not punish how she's currently doing them. I, male 43, have been married to my wife 40 for 15 years. We have a son who's a tween. I really love my wife. I adore and idolise her. Seriously, she's the best thing that has ever happened in my life. I'm willing to give my life for her and her happiness. All this time I've been living a really happy life with her, and we've never had any arguments or misunderstandings. But there was one incident. As it turned out, when our son was a pre-tween, my wife had an affair partner. I didn't know about him. Their relationship continued until last year when our son became a tween. That's when my son told me about this piece of crap. My wife was taking him home to her affair partner, and our son saw their relationship but was afraid to tell me for 3 years. It's been a tough year since everything came to light. First, I dealt with this idiot, and then my wife and I had a long talk with each other and figured out what brought us to this situation. We moved to another city and changed jobs. And finally, we're living a happy life again. I love my wife and I will never leave her. Yesterday, my son fought with my wife. The teacher at school complained about our son's behavior to my wife. My wife at home began to reprimand our son and he only snapped, defended himself, and claimed that the teacher misunderstood everything and he did nothing wrong. And all this time, he didn't want to listen to what was being said to him. I, of course, also intervened in the argument and defended my wife. Finally, my wife couldn't stand it and told him to go to his room immediately. My son snapped back, "Command your John," that's what I'll call her ex-affair partner's name. Rage immediately boiled up in me and I told our son that his mom was right and he should go to his room immediately. I also deprived him of his PS, phone and pocket money. When he asked what the punishment was for, I told him that his mom's personal life was none of his business and who was he to judge his mom. I'm a husband and I have to deal with these things, not a tween boy. So your wife made your son an accomplice to her affair and he's had to deal with that for 3 years? And now, because you want to forget that your wife cheated on you for 3 years and took your son to John's house while doing it, your child also has to just get over it? Your child does not respect his mother. That is the consequence of her actions. Your son does not respect you. That is the consequence of your reaction to everything. You're punishing your son for reacting to the mess you as his parents made. Yep, you are the idiot. This affair totally changed the kid's life because he had to move, change schools, lose his friends, etc. OP, you're trying to create this very false narrative that your wife is perfect and worth worshipping. You're putting her on a pedestal and refusing to take her off it, despite her having a multi-year relationship with another man is ludicrous. It's time for some serious couples and family therapy, and probably individual therapy for you too. Dude, not only did you uproot his life completely for your issues, but he also had to witness his mom having a secret affair for 3 years, and somehow it's none of his business? Your wife put your son, a little boy, in an awful position and made him keep a secret from his dad for 3 years out of fear? Her personal life is his business because she involved him in it. You're taking out your frustration with your wife on your son. He's not the one who cheated on you hundreds of times. I, 36 female, usually have time to drive my daughter to the bus stop every morning before work. Last week, where we were, it was minus 11 degrees wind chill. A kid, tween to young teen, middle school aged, comes down to the bus stop as well. I don't know him or his parents. This is relevant to the story. On Friday, when it was minus 11, he came out in a thin pullover. I felt like I couldn't ethically allow a kid to stand out in such cold weather when I had a warm car he could sit in. He took my offer and sat in my back seat while my daughter and I spoke. He kept his AirPods in and said nothing but thank you. Buses were running about 15 minutes late as well, so nobody really should have been out in that. However, yesterday, while I was walking my dog, a woman came up to me. She asked me why I took her son into my car. I explained that the weather was well into the negatives, he was not wearing a coat and the bus was quite late. She told me never to do that again, that what I did was incredibly creepy and to leave her son alone. I was taken aback. I just offered the kid a warm place to sit and didn't even speak to him. I feel bad because, of course, I never want to come across as creepy or overstepping boundaries, but I also feel like if the roles were reversed and I was unable to take my daughter to the bus stop and this mom offered her a place to sit, I would be thankful. I feel bad for doing something I thought was nice. Is this weird? Am I the idiot? Speaking as a former child who got frostbite on both hands at the age of 10, thank you for caring about someone else's child. You are not the idiot. The mother's concern is valid, but she was also the parent who sent or allowed her child to go to a bus stop in weather that could have seriously harmed him. Instead of thanking you for protecting her child from harm or even asking why you had a child in your car, she's attacking you. To me, it appears she is deflecting blame and trying to make you out to be the villain, so the conversation is diverted from why she allowed her child to be at risk. You did the right thing, but if it happens again, call the school to report the child neglect, and then the cops to come pick up the kid. If the boy and her daughter get on the same bus every day, the odds are that the boy knew the mum and daughter by sight, so they recognized they weren't in danger. This was more about control. My husband wasn't allowed to ride with others until he was an adult. He walked to school in the snow and didn't tell his parents if a friend picked him up away from his home. His parents probably would have been upset about the OP's offer as well. It's also possible the mom in the post can't afford more and is reacting like that because she feels ashamed. Pride gets in our way sometimes. My wife and I have been together for 15 years and we've been married for 11. Our life is generally great. We have 2 small kids, both of whom we adore. We agree on all the big things in life: finances, politics, spirituality, how to raise our children, etc. We're not loaded by any means, but we live comfortably enough. We have a house in a great neighborhood, can pay all our bills and have money left over to do fun things. I feel bad even complaining because I know that compared to a lot of folks, we've made it, but the physical spark in our relationship is essentially non-existent. My wife has gained a significant amount of weight since she had our first child 5 years ago. I'm not talking 25, 30 or even 50 pounds. I'm talking probably 100 to 150. It's affecting our relationship deeply. I've almost grown resentful that she no longer considers taking care of herself a priority, nor does she care about her appearance. I've tried having very gentle conversations about the topic. She is, of course, sensitive to the subject, so I'm sure not to abuse her with words, call her fat, etc. The most I've said is that I wish the physical part of our relationship was different and that I feel my attraction for her has dwindled. Yes, I realise there's no nice way to say this. I really tried my best to say it as softly as I could while still making sure she understood how I felt. She took this very personally and wanted to turn it around on me by saying that she's not going to raise her daughter to be conscious of her body, feel wrong about how she looks, etc. She is a good person and a good mom. She works very hard, probably to a fault, and I think she's at her limit of managing stress between work, raising a family, etc. I want to encourage her to try to get healthy, but she's not interested in engaging in the conversation. She says she's always struggled with weight and no diets, etc. have ever worked for her. I've been with her long enough to know she's capable of doing anything she sets her mind to, so it's frustrating to see that she just straight up refuses to engage here. I'm almost positive she's afraid to fail somehow. As an aside, a few years ago I was unhappy with how I looked and felt. I took the initiative to change my life via regular exercise and diet, and I'm much happier and healthier now. I've tried encouraging her to join me, work out, etc., but never got any traction. I've given up on asking because it's pointless. I don't know what to do anymore. She has zero interest in intimacy because, in her words, and I get where she's coming from, she feels unwanted. We still do have it somewhat regularly, but without me being the initiator, I think we go months without. I refuse to give up on my marriage and our life together and leave my children just because of something as superficial as one's weight, but at the same time, I feel like I don't know what else to do here. Am I the idiot for not being physically attracted to my wife any longer? She took this very personally and started to gaslight me, saying that she's not going to raise her daughter to be conscious of her body, etc. Where does the gaslighting come into play here? You are the idiot. She probably doesn't prioritize her looks anymore because she can't. Maintaining work, a household, and children already takes up her time. Having children ruins your body. A lot of women don't carry children for this exact reason. It costs to bring life into the world. There's a difference between being body positive and content with yourself and justifying not taking care of yourself. She cannot use that excuse of being a role model to her kid because teaching your kids not to care for themselves is not a goal. You teach kids to eat healthy and be active, not to let yourself suffer from low self-esteem over things in your control. Not the idiot. Everything else aside, 150 pounds is an entire human's worth of extra weight. I'm not sure many people would still be attracted to their SO if they literally doubled in size. Intimate life and relationship dynamic aside, your wife can't possibly be healthy and needs to take steps towards losing weight and getting healthy again if she ever wants to get the same enjoyment out of life as she used to. Not to mention to live a long, healthy life, be there for her family, and watch her kids grow up. At this point, your wife needs medical intervention. This is not normal postpartum weight gain. Everything else pertaining to this situation should be taken up with a marriage counsellor. My brother, 39, is very angry with me, female 40. He's been with his fiancée, female 25, for 2 years, and since then every family gathering with them included has been 100% vegan, and the reason is that his fiancée can't be around meat. Honestly, I never found it an issue. I love vegan foods, and I don't believe one vegan meal would kill you. We had one vegan Christmas with my parents. The other Christmas they celebrated with her family. Anyway, not all were indifferent about that as I was, and I heard gossip and complaints. I usually just grab some popcorn. Unfortunately, this time the drama is about me. I'm turning 40 in 2 weeks and have made restaurant reservations. I sent the invitations. My brother immediately answered that I'd forgotten the rule. Upon further inquiry, he explained that the restaurant wasn't vegan. I said that I knew that, but that it had vegan options that looked delicious. One of my closest friends is vegan too, and I put her and sister-in-law in mind when choosing. But most importantly, I put myself in mind, and I really liked the restaurant. He called me angry and yelling, telling me they always knew I didn't like her. What are you talking about? Of course I like your fiancée. Now family is in the middle, siding with me versus little bro. His fiancée is very upset with him and me, saying I never liked her. She even told him that she couldn't be with him if his family hated her like that, so he was very angry and told me I was ruining his relationship. Am I? Whoa, so according to your brother, it isn't enough to be considerate and inclusive, taking into account your sister-in-law's preferences. You must actually revolve all your choices to cater to her, even your own birthday, and if you don't, you never liked her, and that she can't be with him now because of it? And now your brother is accusing you of ruining his relationship? Holy mother of insecurity and misplaced blame. You are not the idiot. Your brother and sister-in-law are. Seriously, it should be made abundantly clear to both the brother and the sister-in-law that this exact sort of toxic, narcissistic behavior is what causes vegans to have a bad rap in this society. And then it should be made equally clear that after this stunt, they genuinely will not be invited anywhere else ever again. Throwing this kind of a fit because the restaurant isn't 100% as vegan as their bizarre fundamentalist take on the lifestyle demands when it's someone else's birthday is beyond pathetic. I mean, he's 39 and she's 25. She's probably an immature 25 and he's definitely an immature 39. They don't understand yet that the world doesn't revolve around them. Imagine thinking your future sibling-in-law must base all decisions around you. Holy crap! Maybe they'll finally have reached maturity by the time he's 60 and she's 46. There's no drama like family drama. Tell your bro and his sugar baby to go pound sand.